Well, hello everybody, and welcome back. So good to see you. My name's Ron Beaudry. This is my YouTube channel where I talk about records. And today we're going to talk about free Blue Note records. Yeah, that's the best kind. That's my favorite flavor, of course. Now, first record is for free. A friend of mine who's got a YouTube channel, David Bianco, he had a milestone. He had 6,000 subscribers. So he had a little party here a couple weeks back, and he invited me to attend. And we were 5 or 6, 7 of us people up on the screen having a good time talking about a bunch of stuff. There was a whole bunch of folks in the chat room. So I hope you all could make it over there and we're watching David's channel and you subscribe to him. If not, I'm going to leave a link to his channel down below where you can go and check him out. And I've talked about him before on my channel. Now, he had a contest and I won a couple of records, which is always great. And the first one is this Basha. This is a really good female vocalist with a really good band, and it's an audiophile grade quality record. And I know he knows that. He knows the kind of sound I like, and that's why I think he sent me this record. Really appreciate it, David. Thanks very much. And then, in keeping with the theme tonight, free Blue Note records, David also gifted me this record. This is the World Pacific jazz label record, Lee Konatz, and this is really a good record too. Beautiful sounding record, remastered by Kevin Gray, all that good stuff. Fantastic, and it's a Blue Note, so that means it's pressed at RTI. Really good record. And it's got the stout and shiny jacket and all that stuff on it. Then I did get some VCLT from a friend of mine, Lathe of Heaven, sent me this here a while back. And this is, of course, Santana Moonflower. It's a double record on a nice, beautiful gatefold jacket. And this is a record that's made in Japan. This is a concert in Japan, and it's made and pressed in Japan, this record right here. So he knows I really love those Japanese records, and he gifted me this, and I want to thank him so much for it. It's a beautiful record, and I truly do appreciate it, and I love the record. Thank you very much. Then I got a couple other things in the mail here this week. Just if you didn't know, this has been reissued. This is the Rhino High Fidelity that sold out the first time in about 6 days. They've reissued it, and a friend of mine, very, very nice fella, texted me and said, "Hey, Ron, they've reissued that record." And I jumped out on the day and I bought the record. And I took the occasion. I said, you know what? I want to see how this sounds. I have an original, well, actually have a 2012 remaster by Kevin Gray at Acoustic, and it's pressed at RTI. And it's, have the little that silver RTI sticker on there. So if you see this where it says, Rhino vinyl, and then it doesn't have the silver RTI sticker, those are usually made in Germany, and a lot of times now they're making digital records over there, but not the ones with the silver sticker, which are getting really rare nowadays. They're pretty hard to find. But if you see those are made in the United States and very good sounding. So I bought this one. This was remastered by Kevin Gray, but it's remastered at Coherent Audio. And it's plated and pressed in Germany. So I've listened to this a couple of times, and I've listened to this one. I listened to this one quite a bit. This is one of my favorite records. I have probably played this record as much as anything else, probably more, because in the later years, so the last 5-6 years, this seems to be in the heavy rotation a lot more than other records are. A lot, because it's the one I have is a WWA press. It's an original pressing. It's a VO6 stamper, just like the Swirl. It's made in the UK. The sound on it is so good. It's so powerful. It really is that power. The power chords are coming on so good. And I just love the way it sounds. And so I said, and then this was over on David's show. They were talking about this record. And they said, it's better than the swirl. I said, well, I've got to hear that. If it's better than the swirl, that is going above and beyond what I thought could be possible. So I have got to own that. And so now I've got it, and we're going to do a shootout of both these records. Hopefully I'll get them both done this week, folks. Wouldn't that be nice? Reminds me of a song, yeah. So now we're talking about the Blue Note records. You know, I'm an old railroad man, so I'm a sucker for this cover. What a great cover, right? You've got Jimmy Smith hanging off the old B&O. You know, there's a lot of Monopoly, all kinds of stuff going on here. And what a great record. Of course, it's got a beautiful cover on there. And the story goes now, Ron, how did you get all these records for free? Come on, spit it out. Yeah, so here, this is before Christmas. I'm on the Blue Note mailing list. I've never bought any records from them before, but I'm on the mailing list, and they sent me an email, and they said, we're having a sale for 30% off. So I said, okay, I haven't been buying any Blue Notes lately. You know, when they first started reissuing them here a few years back, I bought a lot of them. So I really love Blue Note jazz. I love all the people that they're on there, right? And I like the way that they're recorded. They're just such good records. So I made a list, and I listened to them. And another thing is, as you all know, when you have got 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 records, you can't listen to all these records. It's just getting to be too many. And so you're always out there cherry picking. Oh, I want to listen to this one. And there's a few there that you're not listening to. So you get to a point where I'm not buying every record. I'm not trying to fill a hole. I'm not trying to have every Kenny Burrell record. I'm not trying to get every one of them. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to get the ones that I think sound fantastic, that are good. If I can go my record collection, I can pull any record out, and it's going to be fantastic. I don't have to worry about it. This is where I'm at. Because I did that a few years back. I said, hey, you can pick any record out of there and it'll be great. And so I pulled one out. I said, oh, this one is not so good. So that was another purge. That was probably 10 years ago. I did the big purge, got a lot of money, and bought a lot of records. Yeah. That's what you do. You're just upgrading the collection all the time. So I noticed on there, they said if you haven't bought from Blue Note in the past, you get an extra 10% off for your first order. So the way the math worked out, I got about 37% off of those 8 records. So I put the order in, and a couple weeks go by, I haven't gotten any records. So I figured, well, I'll just go to the website and see what's going on. And they're like, yeah, we got your orders. It's marked paid. Here's your order number. And this got a shipping date, which is like next week. They'll be shipping the records. Fantastic, great. So a couple weeks go by. So let me check their website again, see what's going on. Same exact thing. And the date is now projected another week in advance. So this kind of scenario plays out. 2 months, about 3 months go by, and I still haven't got the records. And then I got an email from Blue Note. You know, it's Blue Note. I'm not worried. It's not some fly-by-night eBay thing or Discogs or someone I don't know. This is a legitimate company that I know I'm going to get the records. They're obviously having some problem, and I didn't email them, I didn't phone, I didn't do anything. I just was going to be patient, and they'll eventually show up. So they sent me an email because they were a lot more upset about it than I was. And they apologized, and they said, listen, we're going to send you the records. They're coming out next week. Don't worry. And we're going to refund you your money. And I'm like, hey, I like free records. That's my favorite price. That's my favorite color, right? My favorite flavor for records is free. So especially Blue Note. They're so good. So that's the story. B&O, Jimmy Smith, Hammond, Oregon. You know, you got Hammond, Oregon, Stanley Turnteens on the tenor sax, Kenny Burrell on the guitar, and I love Kenny Burrell as a guitar player. And you got a great drummer, Donald Bailey. It's a good record, folks. Of course, all these records are good. I don't have to tell you they're good. I don't buy it. Of course, the white, in my opinion, they're good, right? Now, this is, I Out to Lunch. This is kind of a little avant-garde stuff going on right here. Eric Dolphy, but he does have Freddie Hubbard on the trumpet, and we got Bobby Hutcherson on the vibes, so, and Anthony Williams on the drums, one of my favorite drummers of all time. We're not going to spend too much time talking about all these records because this is one of the reasons I didn't make the video here before, because I wanted to get more on a deep dive and talk about the record and talk about the music, and it just gets too much for one video. So maybe I'll make another video, I'll break it down and I'll talk about 4 records, and then I'll talk about another 4 records, and we'll get into more of a deep dive if that's what, the kind of thing you want to know about, what the music's like, right? But right now it's just, Starbright, Dizzy Reese on the trumpet, Hank Moberly on the saxophone. We got a great Wilton Kelly on the piano, Paul Chambers on bass, Art Taylor on drums, right? With a lineup like that. And then, of course, I listened to it, and I bought the record. It was so good. Now we've got another one of those kind of avant-garde records. This is called Point of Departure. So this is where it starts going, where it gets avant-garde, but it's the point where it starts going avant-garde. So you can still pay attention. You can still, sing along with the record. It's still, you still know what's going on. Not like Bitches Brew and all that other stuff where it's just going out into left field somewhere, and I don't know why they're playing those weird notes like that. It just doesn't make sense. This is still a good record right here. And we got Kenny Dorham, of course, and Eric Dolphy. He's one of them guys that likes to go on that avant-garde stuff. And Joe Henderson and Andrew Hill. Anthony Williams again on the drums. Here's a Kenny Burrell. Hank Moberly, Horace Silver, right. And it's the Tone Poet now. And the Tone Poets, if you don't know, beautiful tip-on jacket made in the City of Industry over at Stoughton, and they make it on a gatefold record with extra session photos. Really, really do this beautifully. And Kenny Burrell, like I say, one of my favorite guitar players, but the thing about Kenny Burrell is every record he's put out is not good, in my opinion. This one is one of those really good ones, and some of them I don't want to own. But when I pull this out, it's going to be good, and I'm going to enjoy the record. Okay. Now this one is near and dear to my heart because the title. And look at the car. It's a Caddy for Daddy, okay? And it's Hank Moberly too, but just the cover itself. I about got to get this thing framed and put up on the wall. Because one thing I have never talked about in all the years that I've done my YouTube channel is I'm a Cadillac guy. My first Cadillac I bought years and years ago was a 1975 Coupe de Ville. And I think after that, I had a Caprice. And then ever since then, I've owned Cadillacs. And it's only up until this last spring, I went and bought a different car. I didn't buy a Cadillac. I bought something else, a big, huge Korean car, drives like a Cadillac. And the Cadillacs that I buy today, they don't ride as good as this one does. And it's not as big as this one. So that's why I bought it. But a Caddy for Daddy, what a great record, what a great cover. I love it, and that was the story to go with the record cover. Chet Baker Sings. Pacific Jazz. So another one of those Pacific Jazz titles. And we've got Chet Baker on here doing male vocals. He also plays the trumpet, but he does male vocals on a jazz record. Again, it is a Tone Poet. Beautiful gatefold, tip-on, Stoughton jacket, thick, all this stuff you like audiophiles love, record collectors like. And when you can get it for free, right, it's my favorite flavor of all time. Herbie Nichols Trio, another Tone Poet, and a lesser known title, and I didn't know about it, so I had to listen, and I said, wow, that Herbie Nichols, his piano style, the way he composes these songs in his style is a little bit different, and I really do appreciate it. And his virtuoso on the piano is great. So he's got a bunch of good guys on here. Max Roach, we all know him on the drums. This is a really good record right here. And then I've got the last four. This is probably a year ago. I was over at Acoustic Sounds, and I was watching somebody's video on on the vinyl community, and they were talking about how Acoustic Sounds, Chad Kassem had a sale overhead. He was selling some Blue Notes for like $10. So I said, well, let me go over there and see for $10. I can do $10 for records. Dial S for Sonny, Art Farmer, Chris Fuller, Hank Moberly, Sonny Clark. Great record. And then we've got, this one is called Destination Out by Jackie McLean. And Bobby Hutcherson on the vibes here with Jackie McLean on the saxophone, Roy Hayes on drums. And anytime you've got some Bobby Hutcherson on the record, it's always good. I have never heard a bad one with Bobby Hutcherson on it. I love the vibes, of course. And then who's this guy? Yeah, Milt Jackson. He's another guy plays the vibes. And again, another really good record. Horace Silver. He's a great pianist. He's so good on that piano. And you got Donald Byrd on the trumpet, one of my favorite trumpeters. Hank Moberly on the saxophone. I mean, this is the all-stars here, right? So another really, really good record. And then the last one on the list, Tina Brooks' Blue Train. And I wasn't familiar with Tina Brooks until here a few years back, you know, when Blue Note started to reissue these Blue Note series records. And right now I've got about 4 of these Tina Brooks records. He's really good. I don't think I've ever listened to a record Tina Brooks was on. It wasn't a good record. And, you know, him and Freddie Hubbard, they both come in about the same time. And Tina Brooks was on Freddie Hubbard's record, and Freddie Hubbard had Tina Brooks on his first record. So that's kind of when they were on. I forget whose record it was before. They were both on somebody else's record. And they decided when there was time to do their Blue Notes, they had each other because they, and you can tell that these two people had played together quite a bit prior to this because they're so tight. And I like that on a record where the trumpeter and the saxophone player, right, when they play together and they play the same tune, they play the same notes. I really like that. And they do a lot of that on a record like this. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. It was so good to see you again. I hope you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to subscribe. And I want to thank everybody for doing subscribing and all that stuff about what you do on YouTube. Thanks so much for everything. I hope you enjoyed the video, and bye for now.